You beat on the first quarter, and you're also looking at profits higher for the entire year. You did warn about that or alert us about that earlier this month. What's driving that profit increase?
So good morning, and thank you for having me. Yeah, we can see, of course, a stronger recovery in more or less all our markets, but also segments that we are operating in. At the same time, I think also on the financial performance from the company has exceeded our expectations during this quarter. So we see better earnings actually in all our businesses.
Okay, also something else you alerted to us this morning is about potentially an IPO for e-mobility. Can you give us more details?
Yeah, I mean, we have an exciting business where we actually are market leaders when it comes to EV charging of electrical cars. This is a business that we've had for quite some time. It's growing extremely fast. Since 2016, we have a CAGR of over 15%. And this last quarter, up to 120% growth. So you can imagine that this is exciting for the future. We believe that this business...
What's the value of the unit? Sorry, Bjoern. We want to get a sense of the value of this unit.
No, I think that we can't really actually know or from that perspective. We think that this is a business that sits with a lot of value for ABB. So we have now made a separate division, a separate operating entity with its own strategy with strong focus on growth. We are now exploring opportunities of a potential listing, using that as actually growth platform, you know, for acquiring, both for organic growth, but also for inorganic growth. I think we need, during the coming years, to make quite many acquisitions within this area to actually keep the leading position we have today in the market.
Speaking of IPOs, you said in February that you haven't decided yet whether or not you were going to list your turbocharger unit. Have you reached a decision since then?
No, I think we are in a very early stage when it comes to deciding that. We have decided to go into the market. We are looking for potential buyers, but we are also exploring the opportunity for a listing, which I think this is, of course, a highly profitable business with a lot of potential for the future. So we look for the best value for our shareholders, and we'll come back probably closer to the end of the year with a final decision.
Okay, so we'll be on the lookout for that. Looking a little bit more macro, what's going on in the world, we have analysts constantly come on the show and talk about the worries about inflations and supply chains. You look at base metals, they are absolutely on the tear, especially copper nearing $10,000 a ton. Are you seeing that prices in raw materials for your business go up?
Of course we do. I think this is issues that all companies are facing today. All material prices are going up. Most companies have hedges for certain times, but as further you move forward, these higher costs will, of course, hit the businesses. At the same time, I think we, as every company else, are trying to transfer some of these to the customers. I think it's quite acceptable today.
What about your footprint in China? China, the activity has been wobbling of late. Do you think China's growth can sustain some of these earnings and the outlook we are seeing in terms of global growth?
I mean, it's clear that China is the growth engine of this recovery from the COVID. And we saw for, close to 23% growth for the Chinese market for us. And that's, of course, enormously strong numbers. If that's sustainable for the long term, of course, we don't think so. You normally grow when you look at our kind of business in line with the GDP development. But the whole last year, I think it started already last summer, and then we've seen a constant recovery on the market and very, very strong growth numbers.
What about out of the United States? How does your company fit into the trillions of dollars the administration wants to spend on infrastructure and their green ambitions? Where can you take advantage of this?
I think we're quite excited about the development there in North America. We're seeing the market recovering, coming back from all corners. And these so-called investment in infrastructure project for the North American, it fits us perfectly, as our company is actually delivering, the electrification infrastructure in the country, but also the automation, which we think will be a key area of investments going forward. So from that perspective, we believe U.S. market will be exciting in the coming years.
You've also asked your division managers to review their portfolios. Any further disposals you plan on announcing through this year?
I think we have quite a lot on our agenda now. We have 3 of our divisions which we are now exiting. That will take at least this year and probably next year also before we finish that. At the same time, we also now announced that we are actually breaking out the e-mobility business, and we're looking for a potential listing of this business, or trying to find a way that we can grow this business in the best way to create value for our shareholders.
And finally, Bjoern, we just want to get a sense from you. You're the head of this mega company. What's going on with your workforce in terms of vaccines? Are you offering anything like a monetary bonus or a potential day off so your employees can go get vaccines? Are you encouraging that?
I think, like many companies, I think safety is our primary goal. So even from the beginning of the pandemic, we have worked hard to make sure that our employees are safe wherever they are. And now it's the time of vaccines. We are, of course, following in each country where we're operating according to those rules and how they distribute it out among the employees. Of course, we let our employees be off work to get the shot, and we, of course, encourage everyone in the group to vaccinate, and try to protect ourselves as good as possible. So there are tough situations as we see in India. It's possible on other places in the world. We see, of course, a recovery going in the right direction. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag at the moment.